I'm David Kentish. Hello. This video is about BlazeAid. BlazeAid is a volunteer organisation that's helping farmers and rural people recover after disasters like fire, floods and so on. After a disaster has happened, fences are one of the most important things for the rural and farming people. They need to be able to control their stock and other animals. So BlazeAid gets in there and does that. What I've been able to present to you here in this little video is a day in the life of a BlazeAid volunteer. Come along and enjoy the ride.
And there's so much to choose from too. What a great selection. We don't have to wait for Brian to bring in his muster because here he is right now.
Anyway, thanks for your time to come down and give us a hand. Has everybody signed on? Yes. Everybody's put their name on the dinner list who's staying tonight. Just another little reminder about security around here. Be careful, don't leave anything out, make sure your van's locked during the day, etc. Don't leave anything valuable out at night, make sure your cars are locked. Alright, just a few safety issues, particularly for the people who just arrived today. Don't ride in or on anything without a seatbelt, it doesn't want to cover you for that. And please look after the tools, they're very expensive, they've been bought with donation money. Just check around before you leave, and most of you would know what's in the trailers and what's in your little toolkit, so just make sure you've got everything back. The job's got to feel right, and we're only doing the fire affected fences. Don't forget to take plenty of water with you. And the buddy system, just work together. Look after your mates. If you see them doing something that's obviously dangerous, stop them. If you've got any real issues, just speak to your team leader about it. And don't forget your first aid kits.
They even provide us with maps so that we know where we need to go for today's work. There's a great selection of lunch items, so now we need to pack our own lunch before we head out into the field. And don't forget to sign the forms, otherwise you'll miss out on dinner. Then it's off to see the tool man so we can select the tools that we need for today's work.
That is 300. Yeah. One of those. Yep. One Kelly. Right.
Like it's experienced as well.
Oh yeah, that's worn in that one. You don't have to worry about the bearings on that one.
No, sure.
Okay, so there's your feet for your kit. Just check the numbers to satisfy yourself it's all there.
Yep.
There's your first aid kit. Right, if you need to use anything out of that, or if you need to open it first, please wash your hands so it doesn't contaminate the rest of the stuff. And then let me know what's used out of it so that we can get it good.
All of the kits have the items listed so everybody knows what's in them.
So that we can replace it to keep it all good and in good order. Thank you.
Everything is locked up for night time, so we have good security. We attend 2 camps, one at Grass Patch and the second one at Waroona.
So Brian, what's your role as a BlazeAid in the BlazeAid camp?
Well, as the coordinator, my role is to bring it all together, to liaise with the farmers, to liaise with the volunteers coming in, and to put them out into teams the following day to go and assist the farmers.
And how does BlazeAid benefit the farmers?
Well, what might take the farmer a couple of weeks to do, we can do within a couple of days for the farmer. And we don't only pull up the old burnt fences that have been destroyed in the fire, but we'll also help the farmer put in the new fences.
And the age-old story is, do you have enough volunteers to service what the farmers require?
It's up and down all the time. Sometimes the farmers have a short delay in getting their materials, But we can often do the clearing work, getting ready for the fencing, and as soon as the materials arrive, they ring us and we go out and assist them.
Well, thank you very much. Hi-ho, it's off to work we go. By driving through the devastated fire areas, you can understand the difficulties that the farmers are presented with. On the way to our farmer's place today, we stop and have a look at some of the regeneration in the bush. This new life must bring new hope. BlazeAid can enter the areas where they have been burnt once it's deemed safe. So now we have some regeneration happening. So now we move into this section of old fence is still standing, although the posts are just about burnt out. Many fences are laying on the ground. Even that heavy tie wire couldn't save the fence. Some of the farmers have begun their own clearing up works, so it's great that we can move in and help them with that. The fuel load for this fire must have been fairly heavy to have damaged the fence and knocked out these trees. Although this wire looks to be fairly sound, big portions of this fence were fire damaged, and it was decided to remove the entire fence for replacement. Laying of the barbed wire and the plain wire inside the prefabricated fence makes rolling up so much easier. The fire removed the grass which was holding the topsoil together, causing a lot of wind-blown problems. But now with the recent rain, the regrowth is now holding the soil together. Here is one section with the BlazeAid volunteers have completed their job, just needs the post pulling out now. This is why we are issued with our own PPE. The rolling up of the old fences continues until such time as all of the wire is removed. Then the posts are picked up and stacked, and the farmer can take it all away and dispose of it. Even with this U-Butte post lifter, they're still very hard to remove. And the teams don't stop their hard work all day. A bird in a cage? This roll is claimed to be the largest roll of barbed wire in the Southern Hemisphere. And now, with the fence lines cleared, it's time to rebuild with a new fence. Harvest was in full swing when the fire struck.
Hi Judy, when did you learn about BlazeAid?
We learned about BlazeAid a number of years ago, not quite sure how, probably listening to Macca on Sunday morning.
Now that you are volunteering with BlazeAid, what activities are you doing?
Well, there's a variety of things to do. We do a bit of emotional support for the farmer, physical support for the farmer. We've been dismantling fences. We haven't actually personally put up any new fences yet. That'll probably happen next week, but we've been clearing fences, rolling up wire in the routine, but just whatever is required is what we do, whatever is needed to assist the farmers to recover from the fire.
Judy, thanks for your time. Hiya Wayne, how did you hear about BlazeAid?
We were on the road down around Esperance in the caravan and met up with some very nice people, and on their van they had that they'd been BlazeAid volunteers, so we sat down and, as you do on the road, for 5 o'clock and had a few beers, and we were told all about BlazeAid.
And you're volunteering with BlazeAid. What activities are you undertaking?
Well, it's a matter of getting to the farmer, and sometimes they need the fence cleared before anything else can be done. So we're doing the clearing up. Like today we're on very hilly country, so it can be quite challenging at times, but at the end of the day, when you finish and you look back and you've done a kilometre or so of pulling out wires and tidying the farmer's property for the new fence, you feel pretty happy.
How do you believe the farmers are benefiting from your actions with BlazeAid?
Well, the farms that we've been doing so far, most of them have other jobs to do, like their dairy. Most of them have been dairy farms, so they're milking in the morning, milking at night, and they've still got to look after their animals. So we're really the filling in the hours that they'd like to be spending, but with 4 or 5 people out in a team, we can get an awful lot of manual work done for them in a very quick time.
You've been volunteering with BlazeAid for a while now. How long is that?
Well, this is about the 5th day out in the field. We had a few days off because of the heat. It got a bit heavy for us here, but yeah, it's been very rewarding talking to the farmers at the end of each day.
To show their appreciation for the BlazeAid volunteers, the local farmers paid for a trip around the harbour and lunch. The Australia Day cricket match was the BlazeAid volunteers versus the local farmers. Although everyone played well, I don't think there's too many Bradmans or Lilies out there.
Good afternoon, Ed. How did you hear about BlazeAid?
Yeah, I found out about BlazeAid through the internet, watching the news, and decided, well, we better do something about it rather than hanging around home, and get out and give a hand.
And what work are you doing with BlazeAid?
As far as we're concerned, we can't donate money, so I'd rather get out, give the farmers a hand with their fences and give them support wherever we can.
Ed, do you do any other volunteering work within the community?
Yeah, I'm from Bridgetown. I'm the fire control officer for Bridgetown. Do a lot of fire work, mitigation work with the Shire, and yeah, it keeps me occupied.
And what work are you doing with BlazeAid?
While we're out on the ground here with BlazeAid, we're doing pulling fences down, clearing fences, helping them put up new fences, and just generally cleaning up so they can get on with their lives and put new fences up and get on with it.
Do you feel you are making a difference for the farmers with your activities with BlazeAid?
Yeah, I certainly do. They need our support, and the look on their faces when we turn up there is absolutely marvellous, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
Hi Shirley, what work are you doing for the farmers with BlazeAid?
Well, today we've been on a farm where we've been pulling wire, which is, so you've got your burnt posts and steel posts, and you're pulling the wire back out through them so that when the new fence goes up, obviously the old fence is gone. And then you roll the wire up, put it in a nice neat heap, and carry on over and over again. We did about a kilometre and a half today, so it's fairly good going. Six strands of wire, 2 of which were barbed wire.
How long have you been a BlazeAid volunteer?
This is my 5th day of volunteering, so not very long at all.
In your opinion, how do you think the farmers are benefiting from your actions with BlazeAid?
Well, I think they are, because obviously it's been a huge blow to them to lose all their fencing, and to have people just arrive on their properties and volunteer and have a bit of a laugh with them and a cup of tea, and then they, at the end of the day, they see that that fence is either gone completely because we've pulled it down, or else, on the other hand, been put up because we've actually erected the fence in the day. And they're always very happy at the end of our work day.
Now that there's new materials available, we work with the farmers to begin constructing new fences. It's a new start for the regrowth. Hopefully it's a new start for the farmers as well. Now, these noisy whacker-packers certainly make a big difference when you're driving in steel pickets. We work with the farmers rebuilding these fences and use all of the materials that they supply. As soon as we're satisfied that the posts are correct, we begin running the wires. This farmer is using a combination of existing posts, new posts with plain wire and barbed wire. Here we see Shirley cutting the tie wires ready for insertion into the posts. After the plain wires are run through the posts, next we run out the barbed wire. When the tie wires are cut, they are inserted into the posts, ready for attaching to the barbed wire. With the wires run through the posts and tied off at the far end, straining can begin. And now the barbed wire can be strained up. With the barbed wire strained up, it can now be attached to the post with the wire ties. And when tying is completed right to the far end, we have a new fence. But not all BlazeAid volunteers are fencers. We have some who work in the kitchen to feed the volunteers who are fencers. And we'll take some time to speak to one of them now.
Hiya Trish, what are you preparing for this evening's meal?
Well, I usually keep it a secret because I like it to be a surprise to people who are going to eat my beautiful meal, and it usually is a surprise to me as well if it turns out right. So tonight I'm having sweet and sour pork with rice. So, and if some people I know don't eat pork, so there will be other choices, like chili con carne or green Thai chicken. Sorry. So,
We like
and if they don't like that, then talk.
Hello Kerry, I see you volunteering for BlazeAid, and what activities are you undertaking in your volunteering capacity?
Well, I'm helping Trish. She's the chef, I'm the sous chef. I get all those interesting jobs like chopping up the vegetables and washing the dishes and all those sorts of tasks. I just follow Trish's instructions.
So between the two of you taking care of the volunteers who are helping the farmers with their fencing?
Yes, we certainly do. We send them out in the mornings very well fed, and then they take their lunches with them, come back in the evenings to a marvellous spread that Trish has prepared. They're very happy workers.
At the end of the day, happy hour is a good time for relaxing. All of the elements of the meal are put onto the table and everyone helps themselves. And there's just no stopping these volunteers when it comes time for desserts.
Just to show there's no ill feeling.
Who else were team leaders today? Ed.
Yeah, we went out to Greg and Carol McDonald's. Pulled there, finished out there. We were at 600 metres, we reckon. We've just finished it all off where others have been. He's a very happy man. Ready for our next task. Yeah, went well out there.
Well, we were hoping the fire was going to be put out because we were wondering where your priorities lay. Your loyalties.
Yeah, back here.
Back here. Any other team leaders?
We settled on 2.1 of clearing today. We had a good run. It was nice, clear country. The fence was good. A lot of the posts were still standing, not just hanging, which makes it a lot easier. But we had 3 barbs and 3 other wires pulling through. So we're used to 2 doing barbs, and they go ahead, and the other one, but 3 slows down a bit. 2.1, and he finished the job, and he'll be putting his strainers in over the weekend. Then we can go back to the next, probably Tuesday, Wednesday, and start putting fencing in.
Yeah, the actual fencing will be taking off, I'd say, over the next week or so. There's been so much clearing going, and some of the fencing materials now starting to filter through.
One of the camp coordinator's duties is to provide us with some details of our daily statistics so that we can see how we're going. At the end of the day's work, everybody heads back to their own camp so they can relax and be ready for the next day, which begins tomorrow. Well, there we are. That may be the end of this video, but the work of BlazeAid continues right around the country. Well, thank you for watching, and until next time, this is David Kentish saying goodbye.